In the last video, we discovered that attention is one of the most valuable resource a human being possesses, and it shapes what we learn, what we remember, what we become. But understanding attention raises an even bigger question. If our brains evolved to focus so well, why does concentrating feels harder than before? Have humans suddenly become lazy? Have we become suddenly less disciplined, less intelligent, or is something else happening? And today we will explore an invisible battle taking place every single day, a battle involving billion-dollar companies, the artificial intelligence, the behavioral psychology, and just one prize, your attention. And many of the world's smartest engineers, psychologists, the data scientists, the AI researchers are working every day on a single problem. How can we keep your how can we keep you engaged for just one more minute? And not because they want to harm you, but because your attention is incredibly valuable. The business model of internet is such that, suppose, let's imagine that there are two business. The first one sells shoes. The more shoes it sells, the more money it makes. And simple. Now imagine YouTube or Instagram or in TikTok or any platform like Facebook. They don't just primarily sell videos. They don't just sell photos. They don't just sell entertainment. Their main business is selling advertisement. And advertiser pay for one thing, the human attention. The longer you stay, the more advertisement you see. The more advertisement you see, the more revenue the platform earns. And suddenly everything makes sense. The infinity scrolling, the autoplay, the recommended videos, the push notification, the endless feed. And these are not just random feature. These are designed to increase just one number, the time spent on the platform. And because in the digital economy, the more attention usually means more profit. And just welcome to the attention economy. The economists often talk about scarcity. The gold is valuable because it's scarce. The oil is valuable because it's limited. And in today's world, human attention is also scarce. Every day you are exposed to thousands of messages, thousands of email, advertisement, news, headlines, the videos, podcast, and the social media post. And your brain cannot possibly process them all. And that means that the companies aren't competing on they are not only competing against their competitor, they are also competing against your family, your work, your books, your sleep, and even your own thought. So whoever captures your attention wins. So why it social media feels impossible to put down? And have you ever opened Instagram planning to spend 5 more minutes, looked up for 45 minutes, and later wondering where the time went? That's it. This is simply because lack of willpower. It's partly because that platform are carefully designed around the principle discovered in the psychology. The one important principle is called variable reward. Imagine pulling the lever on a slot machine. Most of the time, nothing happens, but occasionally you win. That unpredictability keeps people paying. The social media works in a surprisingly similar way. That sometimes a next post is boring, sometimes it's fascinating, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's shocking, and because you never know what comes next, and your brain keeps scrolling. This unpredictable pattern is far more engaging than receiving the same reward every time. So algorithm learn you more better than you know yourself. Here is something remarkable. Every time you pause on one video, every time you like a post, every time you share something, every time you comment, the platform learns a little more about you. It begins building a detailed model of your interest, not because someone is personally watching you, but because the machine learning system analyze billions of interaction. The gradually your feed becomes increasingly personalized, and the goal isn't necessarily to show you what's true or what's healthy or what's meaningful. The goal is often to predict what content is most likely to keep this person engaged. And sometimes those goals overlap, sometimes they don't. The outrage travel faster than the calm. The researchers have repeatedly found that the emotionally charged content is spread more rapidly online. Why? Because the emotion captures attention. The fear, anger, surprise, the conflict, these emotions were important for our survival. Uh, our ancestors needed to notice the danger immediately. Today, but in today's world, digital world, the the same world taps into those ancient systems. That's why the headlines often sound dramatic. why arguments spread quickly, why controversial posts receive enormous engagement. Our brain naturally prioritizes the emotionally significant information. The problem is when we are exposed to all of the day, our attention becomes constantly pulled towards urgency and novelty. The infinite scroll is a brilliant invention. Think about the books. Eventually, you will reach the last page. The movie end, the newspaper have final article, but the social media, there is no end. You can scroll for forever. And designer call this as infinite scroll. Removing the stopping point removes the natural opportunities to ask yourself, do I actually want to continue? Without realizing it, many people continue consuming simply because there is never ending clear moment to stop. Um, the notification are tiny interruption, the big consequences. Now imagine you are writing an important report, your brains vibrate, you ignore it. 30 seconds later, another notification, you ignore that too. But here is what's fascinating. The research suggests that even the presence of your smartphone can reduce the available cognitive resources and frequent interruption. And the frequent interruption increase the task switching and reduce the deep focus. And sometimes you even you don't even open the notification, but part of your brain is already wondering who messaged me, what was it important. That tiny shift in the attention is enough to interrupt your deep thinking. And one notification seems harmless, but dozen each day create a fragmented pattern of attention, and we are consuming more information than ever. Take a moment to imagine life 100 years ago. The people used to read a newspaper, had conversation, read books, listen to the audios, but today, before breakfast, many people have already consumed dozens of messages, news update, the emails, videos, the memes, comments, advertisement, and the notifications. And the amount of entering our brain has exploded. But one thing hasn't changed yet is our brain. The evolution the moves slowly, but the technology moves incredibly fast. And the gap between those two is creating many of our attention problem and of attention problem we are experiencing today. This isn't about blaming the technology. At this point, it is important to avoid a common mistake that the technology itself isn't the enemy. Our smartphone can help you the learn medicine, read scientific paper, talk to loved ones, navigate cities, create businesses, watch educational videos. Even this video exists because of the technology. But the problem isn't about the technology. The problem is using incredibly powerful tools without understanding how they influence your behavior. A knife can prepare a healthy meal or cause harm. The tool isn't inherently good or bad, but how we design it and how we use it, it's that makes all the difference. And the cost of fragmented mind is enormous. Every interruption feels small, 5 second here, 10 second there, but a quick glance at your phone, the one notification, one short video, one email, individually they seem insignificant, but together they change the rhythm of your thinking. Instead of spending long period focused on meaning one meaningful task, many of us spend our days jumping rapidly from one thing to another over weeks, over months and years. And that pattern can shape our habit, and the habits shape our mind. So far we have seen how the digital world competes for our attention, and at this point you might be wondering, why are these digital experiences so difficult to resist? Why does your phones feel so rewarding? Is it simply because they are entertaining, or is there something happening deep inside your brain? You have probably heard people say that it's all about dopamine. What exactly is dopamine? What if almost everything you have heard about dopamine is incomplete or even wrong? So, is the idea of a dopamine detox actually supported by science? And can technology really rewire the brain? To answer this question, we need to dive into the fascinating neuroscience of attention. And in next episode, we will separate the neuroscience from the internet myth and discover what dopamine actually does.